There are 7 main signs that there is a problem with the heart, or to put it simply, that the heart is weak in quotes. Today we will talk about the heart. Perhaps the most important organ in the body. Of course, the brain, yes, determines everything, our consciousness determines everything, but nothing will work without a motor, so the heart. People have such a thing as a weak heart. They say there I have a weak heart or he has a weak heart. And by a weak heart, people usually understand that the heart cannot cope with some kind of load. And here they say a weak heart. Of course, the doctor and the patient mean completely different things by this concept. The doctor has the opinion that it is not the heart that is weak, but there is some kind of problem at the moment that prevents the heart from coping with its usual load. And that's where he needs help. The most common problem that patients talk about is a frequent heartbeat. Or like a hare's tail, the heart is pounding, right? Or suddenly something like this rolled up and clogged. Or a person does not feel anything, but likes to measure his pulse. Oop, I grabbed my pulse. And there, somehow, everything is often like this, and it's already scary. So, you don't need to be afraid right away, you don't need to be afraid at all. It is necessary in such a situation to count your pulse, but not in 10 seconds, take your time, but in 1 minute. It's better to do it like this. Here you can find the carotid arteries in this way, and count the pulse in 1 minute. I assure you, even if there is a feeling of a heartbeat, the pulse can be 78, 80, 72. It's just that the heart is pounding very powerfully with excitement and it seems that it's fast, but it's not. Therefore, check your pulse, and the problem with this heartbeat may immediately dissolve. In case you have counted a pulse of more than 90, 85 at rest. This is a sign that you need to consult a doctor. The second sign is that the pulse does not quickly return to normal after physical exertion. What is it that doesn't come back quickly? 10 or 15 minutes. If, after all, you have set a pulse of 85 to 90 at rest, then do not be afraid either. The first thing to do, the next morning, just waking up, without getting out of bed, to measure, again, to count your pulse. That's the way it is in 1 minute. And if he's not 85 and 90, well, in general, you can calm down too. Then you can check yourself with a physical load. Only, please, I urge you, dear friends, without fanaticism. 10, 11, 12 squats, measure the pulse, count the pulse before the squats and after. After that, it will be more frequent. So, with a well-trained heart, the pulse will return to the previous state of rest in 10 to 15 minutes. The third sign is the opposite, a rare pulse. What is a rare pulse? Well, it is believed that 60 beats per minute is already a rare pulse. No, it's more a sign of a trained heart. But if it is lower than 50, sometimes even 30 beats per minute, this is already a reason to think and, without worrying, be sure to consult a doctor. The fourth sign, perhaps one of the most important, is chest pain. In this case, we stand on the pain behind the sternum. Burning, bakes, they say, behind the sternum. It is important to focus on this, because it can be a sign of a terrible disease, coronary heart disease. That is, if there is some problem, some unpleasant feeling, even discomfort behind the sternum, here you do not need to guess. You do not need to measure anything, you must definitely consult a doctor, regardless of how old you are. The fifth sign is shortness of breath. Shortness of breath is when it is difficult to breathe. Breathing can be difficult in different ways. It is difficult to inhale, it is difficult to exhale. And this is a person who is not familiar with this, it can be very difficult to differentiate. The most important thing to remember is the dynamics of the problem. It wasn't there yesterday, it appeared today. Yesterday, the second floor or the fifth floor were quickly climbed without any problems. Today there was a problem. That is, here you need to pay attention to the dynamics of the process. Yesterday it was not. Today it appeared. This is an excuse to consult a doctor. The sixth sign is swelling of the lower extremities, swelling on the legs, patients say. Here you need to pay attention to the fact that edema is never a pillow there and the foot does not enter the shoes. Yes, but pay attention. By the evening the elastic band from the socks remains. This is already well. Such a sign is not very favorable. There may be two reasons for this, either problems with the veins of the lower extremities, or problems with the heart. Both, in general, nothing good, because heart problems, of course, you need to see a doctor, but you also need to consult a doctor with lower limb vein problems, because it can be, blood clots can form there. We talked about it. They can fly into the pulmonary system arteries and cause some fatal complications. That is, do not pass by the swelling on your legs. The seventh and most threatening sign is that if the patient has shortness of breath, if the patient has swelling of the lower extremities, then, as a rule, he cannot sleep on a flat surface. He needs to lift the head end and put a bed or several pillows in order to make it easier to breathe. If you or your loved ones have such a sign, it is immediately necessary to consult a doctor, because this is a very formidable problem, a fatal problem, therefore a doctor is required. And usually it happens to close relatives of some kind who are already suffering from heart disease. If he reflexively lifts a few pillows under his back there, and so he sleeps, then this, of course, is definitely an occasion to talk to a doctor. If it happens suddenly, at night, God forbid, then this is a reason to call an ambulance. No need to think, no need to wait for anything, you need to call an ambulance. God grant that it was all right and the ambulance came, did an electrocardiogram and told you not to worry. Yes, do not neglect either the doctor or the ambulance. So, let's get back to where we started. Weak heart. He should not be disturbed, he should be helped in his work. And after all, for most people, yes, these formidable signs may be just a sign of defitness. Not weakness in the heart, but detraining. Therefore, of course, this is a lot of weight, it needs to be reduced. At the other extreme, people exhaust themselves with incredible diets devoid of protein and carbohydrates, and the diet should be balanced. And, of course, a sedentary lifestyle. In order for the heart to be not weak, working well, then, of course, you need to walk, you need walking. 5 kilometers a day at a good pace, at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. You can start with a kilometer, then 2 and so on. Be sure to walk and train your heart. If there really are these problems, then the doctor will definitely point it out to you and prescribe treatment. But in order to understand what it is, a doctor, a cardiologist, will certainly need an electrocardiogram. These are the potentials of the electric heart at the moment. This is the daily monitorization of the electrocardiogram to see what happens during the day. Daily monitorization of blood pressure, which is also very important, yes. This is necessarily an ultrasound examination of the heart, echocardiography is called, where you can see on the ultrasound screen the structure of the heart muscle, how it works and so on. And this is the gold standard that must necessarily be when going to a cardiologist who will tell you, yes, there is a problem, it needs to be treated this way. Or he will say there is no problem, this is fitness and will write you a program of physical activity and diet. Be healthy, take care of yourself and your heart.